Okay, that will do. Right, can I have apologies for absence, please?
No apologies received.
Well, we've got Rebecca Clark.
Yeah, sorry, she's out chauffeuring
right.
our youngster around, so apologies from her.
Right, members, I'm going to go through the roll. If all of you will say here when I read out your names.
Malcolm, sorry, anything from Simon?
Pardon?
Yeah,
anything from Simon? Oh, Simon's here. All right, don't worry.
So, yeah, okay. And we'll do declarations of interest afterwards, Alex. Right, Mark Clark.
Here, Mr. Chairman.
Rebecca Clark's apologies. Sean Cullen.
Here, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra Delamere.
Here, Chairman.
Philip Dowd. Philip.
Chairman.
Alan Fairhead.
Here, Chairman.
Matthew Kitcher.
Here and present, Chairman.
Simon Lodge.
Here, Chairman.
Stephanie Osborne.
Present, Chairman.
Melody Roberts.
Here, Chairman.
Alex Wade.
Present, Chairman.
And Malcolm Wade, myself. Also, we have in present, we have the locum clerk, Tracy Perez, deputy clerk, Sean Spencer, maintenance supervisor and facility supervisor, Marcus Kendall, and we have the minute clerk, Claire Donnelly. And we have a guest observer, Sue Bailey, more of which we will speak later. Now, declarations of interest. To note any declarations of interest by members in connection with the agenda item, members to specify the nature of the interest. Has anybody got any?
We've got one RTS from Alex.
Oh, Alex.
Yes, just purely in planning, application 20-11005 Part H. I did not comment or make any decision on that one, purely as it was a previous councillor. I was advised actually this was not considered prejudicial or any issue whatsoever. It was purely as a precautionary measure. So the decision on behalf of the parish was not including my comments. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want that, Claire, do you want that interest mentioned when Alex comes to present the meeting minutes, or will that do in fact you said it now?
I think that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Brilliant. We haven't had any written requests, have we? For dispensation, right? So there's no need to grant any. Right? Do we have item 3, community safety update from the police? Have we had one?
No.
Okay. Right, members. We now go to minutes, which is item 4, pages 7 to 12. I will go through them page by page. Let me know if you believe they are a true record. Okay, you all ready? Page 7, page 8. Page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, page 14, oh, hang on, I think I've done that, haven't I? So my apologies, got too carried away. Page 12. Are you all agreed they are a true record? Can somebody say yes, please?
Yes.
Very good.
Great.
Thank you very much. Right.
And we've got an RTS from Mark Clark.
Mark.
It was only, Mr. Chairman, sorry, I didn't get the RTS in quickly enough. It was the community report from the police. We just haven't seen the police for months. And I wonder whether we can express some, concern that we haven't seen them. And there has been quite a lot been going on. And I suspect even more will go on near towards Christmas. But we really do need them to show up at least once.
Okay. Tracy, can we write to acting chief superintendent, acting chief inspector, my apologies, Helen Andrews, requesting either a physical, well, a Zoom. I don't think the police do Zoom. I think that's one of the issues, but at least a written report from them.
Yep, sure.
Thank you. Right. Next item is chairman's announcements, and I have a few. First of all, it's with great pleasure I announce the appointment of Michael Armstrong as Supervisor ACSO, commencing his employment on the 2nd of November 2020. And we are very close to appointing the second ACSO as well. More of that will come at probably the next council meeting. And I hope sure you join in me, members, in wishing Michael a very successful and long and happy and positive career serving the parish council and the people and the member and the public of Hythe Dibden in that role. Next, there is sadly no mistletoe event this year. It's no surprise, it's due to the pandemic. Events are being cancelled all across the nation, and sadly we've had to do the same. But all being well, let's hope it's only a rescheduling for next year. Okay. On the remembrance service on the 11th of November, there's no official parade and attendance at local churches because they are limited due to the COVID-19 restrictions. But our thoughts are still with those who gave their lives in the service of our nation in 2 world wars. St Andrew's Church are hosting a live stream of their remembrance service, and further details on the council website. Members of this council will be presenting wreaths at the appropriate places on Remembrance Sunday, as you're aware. Also, it's worth paying some tribute to the free school meals campaign by the footballer Marcus Ratchford, which I'm sure we all support, and the local people in our community who are working hard to help those need those children get free school meals through the half term and through the Christmas holidays. I will mention something about that later. And finally, members, sadly, we are in the second wave of the pandemic, and the challenge to us all in the dark days of winter will probably be greater than when the pandemic affected us in the spring and the summer. And I wish to remind all residents about social distancing, about the rules. Although Hythe, thankfully, is still in the lowest tier, it's down to the efforts of residents and everybody following the rules, obeying social distancing, but still getting on their lives as best they can, but taking the right precautions so that you, your families, your friends, and everybody is safe as possible. Right, that concludes that part of the agenda. And now, members, I've been looking forward to this meeting for this next item, because it gives me tremendous pleasure to announce the appointment of a clerk and responsible finance officer, Sue Bailey. And I asked the council to agree the appointment of Sue Bailey as a clerk and responsible finance officer on SP 42. And I propose that, and I ask for a seconder, please.
I'll second that, Chairman.
Thank you very much. And I will ask all members by name to say your agreement, starting with Mark Clark, please.
Agreed, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Rebecca Clark's policy. Sean Cullen.
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra Delamere.
Agreed, Chairman.
Philip Dowd.
Agreed, Chairman.
Alan Fairhead.
Agreed, Chairman.
Matthew Kitcher.
Agreed, Chairman.
Simon Lodge.
Agreed, Chairman.
Stephanie Osborne.
Agreed, Chairman.
Melody Roberts.
Sorry, I apologise. Agreed, Chairman.
Alex Wade.
Agreed, Chairman.
And I myself agree, obviously, as a proposer. So that is unanimous. Welcome, Sue. More of you we will see as time comes, and we look forward to your start date on the 1st of February 2021. Now, members, we go to reports by county and district members. Do we have a report from Councillor
McAvoy.
McAvoy, thank you very much.
And Malcolm, quickly, you have the RTS from Mark.
Oh, Mark, sorry.
I just wanted to say, is it not appropriate that we should thank Tracy at this point for all the valiant efforts that she
well,
did?
I was going to make that as a special chairman's announcement later on.
Fair enough.
But, yeah. So I was thinking about thanking Tracy nearer the time that she's going. But as Mark's raised it, pause it. I will thank you, Tracy, for your efforts and your continued support. But I'm sure I'll be able to give you something of thanks, of a greater measure near the end of your term of office, which is going to carry on for some time yet.
Yeah, okay.
But thanks anyway, Tracy. You've done a grand job. Right, I should move that out of the way. Excuse me, I'm just moving the RTSs from the screen. Right, okay. Have we had a report from Councillor McAvoy?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Right. Needless to say, I've got one. So, Government support for Hampshire County Council. Here we go. Hampshire County Council established a position regarding tranche 4 of government support and why it is so disappointingly low. The 4 tranches of central government support for local government were, for the nation, 1, 1.6 billion, 2, 1.6 billion, 3, 500 million, and 4, 1 billion. As follows, the county council's proportion was thus. First tranche, they got £29,654,341. For the second tranche, they got £24,313,635. The third tranche, they got £7,642,297. And the fourth tranche, they got £8,784,329. The grand total of £70,394,602. The COVID-19 relative needs formula was developed for tranche 4 from the July tranche 3 allocations, and it has been used as the basis for the allocations for this 4th tranche. The method then takes account of allocations to authorities across the previous tranches of funding, but ensures all authorities receive at least £100,001 of additional funding from this tranche. Therefore, Hampshire County Council's relatively strong distribution positions in tranches 1 and 2 have been completely eroded by being recalculated by the tranche 3 distribution methodology, basically using half of tranche 4 allocation to claw back for the first 2 tranches. Please note that rather than claw back from all authorities, there is a minimum cap of 100,000. In terms of local government sectors, counties have lost 132.5 million compared to simply allocating tranche 4 per tranche 3 distribution. The gainers being London and the metropolitan districts. Well, no surprise there then. Okay, so what that basically means that Hampshire has lost out quite considerably. However, I'm trying to think the exact figure. Out of the 163 million or something like that offset, 83 million of that for Hampshire is unfunded. So that is a challenging situation for them. However, taking all this into account, Hampshire County Council a budget of 2.1 billion this year. So they could find the money to fund free school meals in the Christmas holidays. And I asked the Director of Children's Services if they will. However, the leader of the council has emailed all members saying he'll be asking central government to do this for the Christmas and Easter holidays. Well, so far, central government have refused to do this. So members, I suspect we will need to look at some more localised solution for helping the free school meal children in Hythe and Dibden, as I fear our government and our county council and our district council are not going to help. I attended the free school meeting. I attended 3 meetings: children and young people select committee, families advisory panel, and the corporate parenting board, and dealt with lots of but too much casework to burn this meeting with. But this is a very busy time and we're all needed to help. Right, members, I now go to New Forest District Council reports. I'd like to start with Councillor Philip Dowell, please.
Slim month this month, Chairman, so I've nothing to report of any note. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Sandra Delamere.
Yeah, nothing of great note to report other than I did sit in on the environmental, I forget what it's called, a special meeting about the bins anyway, but I expect somebody else will maybe reporting on that.
Councillor Mark Clark.
Well, nothing to report, Mr. Chairman, particularly I've become, though, a bit obsessive about the task and finish group related to the leisure centres. And so the concern there is that I've written to Mark Steele, Councillor Mark Steele, who's the portfolio holder, with a long list of questions, because simply, as you rightly pointed out yourself, Mr. Chairman, the COVID is back with a vengeance, and therefore the numbers upon which the bidding process is based are therefore skewed and are not related, because the the portfolio holder is quoted in the local media saying is that we won't get back to the numbers in the foreseeable future. And related on that, there seems to be some distance now between what the council expects and what the council may get in terms of bids. And I've asked specifically whether we could shelve the whole privatisation process until at least we're out the other side of COVID. But as yet, I haven't had a response on that. But apart from that, nothing else to report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Councillor Alex Wade. Comment.
Thank you, Chairman. I've just got a few things I'd like to comment on. Just at October's full council meeting, I did ask the portfolio holder for consideration for reviewing over who is consulted over planning applications due to several local examples, including Churchill's just down the road from our normal home, highlighting that even on small roads where properties can be directly impacted by new development are not consulted if they are opposite that property. However, the response I was given, somewhat disappointingly, was that they did refuse to consider my request. We've had a couple of issues, particularly in this area of the district, and they're not advised directly, so that was disappointing. Elsewhere at the meeting, it was agreed by full council that the government's proposed new changes to the planning system, which raise more concerns for local authorities and communities over what developments could be allowed. I welcome the joint approach by councillors on this matter and would have welcomed more joined up communication to key stakeholders on this issue. However, NFDC have raised the concerns on the proposals, which is welcome. I've also asked officers for an update on Capers restaurant site, as there has been an application accepted in May for a change of use, but there's been no further action on site since. However, I understand that since then discussions are ongoing, and there is hope for sort of a decision of some capacity over the next few months, in the next month. So that is ongoing. Car parking, the portfolio holder for planning and infrastructure has made a decision on car parking charges for 2021. It states that costs for running our car parks will rise by 13% to over 2 million. And the council is looking to invest in further electric charging points, although Hythe remains lacking in this area, in my humble opinion. The short stay clock will not rise in price and stay at £25. The long stay clock remains at 120, but will rise to 140 in 2022. Quarterly clocks will stay at £35, but may be removed in 2022 should a direct debit process for the longer clocks be brought in. Amenity car parks will see a £1 rise for the busy months from April to September, so the summer months. Elsewhere remains the same. And so, for example, 2 hours will now be £3 instead of £2. Town centre car parks will remain unchanged in fares for 2021. However, there are to be 5 free car parking days in December for all New Forest District car parks. They will be the 5th of December for small business. Sorry?
So, so carry on, Alex. Tea has arrived, it's okay.
They will be 5th of December for Small Business Saturday. I apologise to Claire that I've clearly spelt that wrong in my report. It's not Small Buns Saturday, it's Small Business Saturday. And also the weekends of the 12th and the 13th and the 19th and the 20th of December. So there's last big weekends before Christmas to encourage use and support the local businesses. Overall, I feel this is welcome news for the parish car parks. However, while NFDC will be looking for revenue opportunities to offset the wider financial issues due to COVID and further uncertainty on future funding, it still seems that free parking more regularly would better benefit local businesses and town centres, in my view. Also, on free school meals, I have also written to the leader of NFDC to ask what support our authority can provide to families and children on free school meals who may be struggling in school holidays for regular meals as the country faces serious economic issues and with many families vulnerable to job losses and reduced income. However, the leader has responded with an update advising the funding given to the Waterside Food Bank and the support network of Citizens Advice Bureau for those vulnerable families. Of course, these measures were and are welcome. However, I felt that this response and the council, while not technically responsible, had a real opportunity to stand up for local residents in need all over the district and prove we're all in this together. And I will say I'm disappointed with the response. I finally would like to acknowledge and echo comments by the chair that the incredible work of local volunteers, groups and businesses who really stepped up to support Marcus Rashford's campaign all over our parish. Where possible, councils will aim to assist, and I'm very proud once again of our kind-hearted community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Osborne.
Shall I combine my outside bodies in this talk?
Why not?
Yeah, rather last weekend. Okay, so lots of casework, lots of visits, on-site visits, mostly in the torrential rain. Yesterday, Sandra and I did a visit to the Ewart Park, you know, to see the officers Marcus and Sean and Lee, and we inspected what needs doing there. Another day we visited Hollybank to meet Councillor Fairhead, who's arranged for you know, a great deal of improvements to be happening on the curbs and grassy areas of Hollybank. I've been on the Environmental Overview Committee, where the two, I suppose the two things that stand out to my mind were the restructuring of the refuse collection. I spoke, you know, and said what I thought about it all, and as usual, I was actually outvoted, but there were two or three, maybe more people that were not all for just accepting everything they offered. Car parking, it was actually NFDC parking on areas which are currently free, and they've decided to introduce charges in Totton at the moment. And again, I spoke against that, saying just due to COVID and businesses struggling, people struggling to afford anything, and driving people away from the town of Totton. But obviously we're thinking of our own village too. What else did I do? So I've not had great responses to the refuge changes. Working on the personnel panel with Melody, Philip and Malcolm, appointing the clerk, and the ACSOs over the last, well, since August, interviews have been going on. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for now.
Okay, members, sorry to bore you a little bit with my voice again. My NFDC report. Well, it's a very busy month with loads of a number of meetings, but the big point this month has been rubbish. Now, how the authority deals with rubbish going forward. Now, the government is insisting that NFDC do things differently. So food waste will have to be collected on a weekly basis. NFDC has one of the worst recycling records in the United Kingdom. And this is because the administration has not really bothered about it for years. For years and years, they've not worried about recycling. They've paid lip service to it all, and they were one of the worst in the country. So after being behind the game line for so long, they're now having to look at somewhat radical solutions to bring waste collection service up to 21st century standards. Now, the WB word, wheelie bin, which strike either approval or disapproval in different people, are part of the strategy NFDC are looking at. However, one size fits all is not a possibility for the New Forest, as the collection systems have to be tailored to fit in with the type of property or environment where people live. And that's an important factor. The collection vehicles will be able to collect a limited different types of waste, but the different collection methods and times should be sympathetic with the needs of residents to having their waste recycling collected properly. So there's still a lot of work to be done before it is fully sorted out. And there will be more public consultation, and I encourage all members of the public to express their opinions. The other point is, while the New Forest District Council is the collection authority, Hampshire County Council is a disposal authority. So whatever NFDC decides upon, it has to work with HCC's disposal plan. However, members, the big waste issue is waste minimisation. Reducing waste in the first place is a topic which NFDC are not putting any major effort into at all. Waste minimisation is the first and most important part of the waste hierarchy, and there are no initiatives in the New Forest to reduce waste with retailers or suppliers. If this was pursued properly, we would be able to reduce the amount of waste to be collected, and that would impact how we need to collect our waste. I will continue to push NFDC on this important aspect, which has not been addressed enough in their draft waste strategy. And which really is important. It's top of the waste hierarchy, but it's bottom of NFDC's priorities. They've got it wrong in this case, and I have mentioned this to them already, so it's no surprise that I'll be going on about it. On a slightly different topic, the planning committee did deal with a Hythe and Dibden issue, the Barbary House application, which despite my speech against it, the application was passed by the committee. And that, members, is my council report. Right, item 8 is reports from members serving outside bodies. Do we have any? No RTSs? Nobody? Okay. Item 9 is a public forum. Well, members.
Sorry, Chairman.
Sorry.
Sorry, I couldn't manage to get to RTS in time.
Okay.
It's actually, Chairman, yourself and Stephanie and myself, we attended a Zoom meeting of the Forest Lodge Hythe Quarry Liaison Committee.
Oh, we did indeed, yes.
Yes. The minutes, as I understand it, will be appearing on their website. And I think the major takeaway from that was that if in case of complaints, which, as you pointed out, Chairman, it's very, very close to Netley View Estate. But in the case of residents have complaints, for them to telephone directly to the people on site, and the numbers on their gate and also on their website, and will be from time to time, I'm sure, advertised in social media as well. And also for people to contact Hampshire County Council as well, so they're aware of any ongoing issues as well. So report direct so that you get something done more or less immediately, or at least an answer. And also report to Hampshire so they have got a feel for what's going on there, because there are issues with how the operation has changed from what the original plan was.
You're quite right.
Thank you, Chairman.
And I have an RTS from Stephanie.
I think Melody and I actually went to this on the day we spoke recently, but it's for the Solent Gateway presentation. We were hoping to get you to invite them for the next meeting, or maybe, you know, later on in the year. They're doing presentations to Marchwood in October. And wonder if that would be something of interest for our public to know what's going on at Marchwood.
I think it will be of great interest to our public, because the development at Marchwood at Solent Gateway will put a lot of traffic on the A326. And, you know, I don't think people really understand the operational implications for Marchwood and indeed the waterside as a whole, because they intend to bring the container feeder traffic into Marchwood Military Port. That will be, as Councillor Clark would tell you, with his expertise and knowledge of shipping, that will be a lot of TFA 20-foot equivalent road movements that they don't have at the moment. So that's a point very well made. Anyone else? Okay, well, we now move to item 9, which is the public forum, and we haven't got one. There are no questions for the public. Is that correct, Tracy?
That's correct, nothing.
Okay, so now, members, item 10, questions to the councillors. The floor is yours. Right, I've got Mark, Alex, and then Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two things. One questioning to you, and one to Alec, Councillor Wade. To you, definition of food waste. Was that discussed at the meeting you touched on just earlier on? Was it, and is it particularly, is just the previous experience that I've had on another council about 30 years ago? We delivered food waste bins with tiger worms in them to eat the food waste, which then allowed the runoff to be used in gardens, and it was very successful in the pilot we ran, probably ahead of our time. And I just wonder whether anything like that had been discussed, and what constitutes food waste, and well done on the minimization of waste. That seems to have been a lost plot there somehow.
Yeah. Well, let me answer about food. The food waste is every bit of food that you don't eat. Out of date, bones from your turkey, cuttings, bits of the cauliflower, all food waste. It's put into a little caddy that will be in the kitchen, which then fills a bag in a large caddy, which is kept outside, and that is the vehicle that is collected every week. It's then taken to what is known as an anaerobic digester, where it is turned into gas, which then turns into electricity. The nearest anaerobic digester is in Dorset. I think it's near, is it near Puddle? I'm not sure, but it's in Dorset anyway. But they're going to have to build more of them if we're all going to put our food waste into that.
Little Hinton, isn't it, Chairman?
Sorry, thank you, Philip. It's Little Hinton.
Little Hinton.
But yeah, where he said. Anyway, so that's where it's going to go at the moment. But they need to build more because that can't take the amount of food waste that we will be producing. You had a question for Alex Wade?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. It was just merely on the planning issues. Saddo that I am, I've been watching some of the planning committee meetings at New Forest District Council, and one of the things that struck me is about if there is an objection from Hythe Parish Council, the planning committee of which you chair, there seems to be an absence of somebody to speak to that motion of objection. I know that Councillor Wade, our chairman, can't do it as member of that meeting, and I just wonder whether there is a policy that we don't turn up at the New Forest or is simply a practical reasons.
It's a very good question. One, not as I say, is a district council. We have on occasions when it's been the significant ones back in the day where we live in person. So, we've spoken about Churchill's, we've spoken about the police station twice. If obviously we have representation or we have councillors who are on the district from the area, we have that at the moment, and therefore they can represent and understand our views. So that's why it's not deemed necessary as a priority. But if there are significant ones where it will be felt in the benefit, then the offer is open to all members of the parish, because obviously some of us might not be available on the day of the meeting, and you often have to be on hold because it's easier for some to be in the entire meeting than others, because obviously there might be a big discussion point. Obviously there's no guarantee that we'll be high up the agenda, but it's a very good point, and we certainly will work towards trying to have representation on the big applications, and the majority, in fact, where possible, we are email round. Claire does email round, and the offer is open to any member of the planning committee. But as chair, I will look at that and make every effort to try and attend where possible.
Councillor Alex Wade, you've got a question.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for that. Did that answer your question? Okay, Mark.
Alex, you're next.
Thanks.
Okay, I just wanted to check that Councillor Clark was happy with my response.
No, fine, thank you. Yeah.
I've done it, is it?
Okay. Well, no, I have two questions. One is to Councillor Stephanie Osborne, and one is to yourself, Chair. So I'd like to ask Councillor Stephanie Osborne her question first. I believe she communicated with NFDC officers with regards to the opening of the office at Hythe Parish Council Hall, Hythe Parish offices at the Grove. Ours is the only NFDC office not currently open, according to the website, of the 8, I believe. Has she had any further response from NFDC officers, and are we able to open it as soon as possible? We're still getting questions from residents, and frankly, why is it not open when Fawley is, Ringwood is, Lymington is?
Really?
Yes, thank you, Alex. Actually, that was my question in a minute to the chairman. That was he aware of this situation? I was at a meeting only this week in the chamber, and frankly, I was surprised that it wasn't open. And I was supposed to be meeting Sean to discuss the outcome of his meeting on Monday with Sean, what was her name?
Jill Williams.
Jill Williams. So this lady came to see Sean and basically presented several reasons why we're not open, which that's what I was going to ask our chairman if he's aware. They're saying reasons are health and safety, and I had this already and you thrown me, Alex, by asking me the question. No, it's health and safety, and also Another reason. Sean, I'm sorry, can you tell me what the other reason was? Look at your email, but I'll lose my agenda.
Yeah, it was a proactive meeting. Their health and safety guy or officer has raised that I think it's a semi-genuine concern in terms of officers and tenants of the Grove. When they go up the stairs to our offices, they go close to where the information officer works. And what they're suggesting is that they can't provide a secure bubble for that officer. I sort of agree with it because they use that whole space. They've got a safe in one corner and they've got files in one corner. So during our officers meeting, we come up with a thought that they could provide some modifications to the reception area, which would then provide that bubble. Jill was going to go back to the health and safety department, if you like, put that motion forward and see where they get. I'm also aware that they've got some IT issues which they are struggling to resolve.
Thank you. That was it. Yeah.
I'm informed that they're close to conclusion anyway. So in essence, we're waiting on health and safety from New Forest Council to come up and say, yeah, if we put these, or if the modifications are in, then that will be safe. So I believe the director over there, Manjit, is due back from leave mid-November. So things may start to move after that, but I'll keep members updated.
Yeah, I was supposed to hear from Manjit, and I also got informed that she was away on annual leave. So the other thing that they were also saying at the New Forest District Council was they hadn't actually heard from our residents directly, phoning or writing or emailing to complain that our office was shut, which absolutely astounded me, because I know whenever I've been trying to speak to any of our officers, our parish officers have been trying very, adequately to look after our residents and explain to them that we're not open, they do need to go to Linda's. But some of the people that they've been trying to help haven't actually got phones or credit on their phones or the ability to get to Lyndhurst. So it's been quite, it's quite sad, and I did expect to have got someone in place. So I'm sorry to the staff at the parish, and Alex, you're quite right to bring it up. Thank you.
Right, the chairman was not aware that every other office was open but the Hythe one. Is that actually correct?
Purely going on the information on the NFDC website. I'll be honest with you, I was reminding myself where to buy recycling bags, and it appeared that they were all open, even with some restrictions, with the exception of ourselves. And thank you, Sean, for the information, because that is completely understandable. But I'm a bit concerned it's going to take so long to mid-November. But I thank you very much for the response.
Right. Well, actually, excuse me, the dog's just come in. So that's what happens when you have meetings at home. Now, that's actually totally unacceptable. Hythe and Dibden is the second most populated community in the New Forest. All the other offices to be open and ours not to be is clearly not acceptable. It's not right for the people of Hythe and Dibden otherwise. And I don't, waiting for someone to come back from holiday doesn't, in the time of a pandemic when we're about to go into a second wave and people need more help, I think is outrageous. I would like, Tracy, have you moved? Sorry. I would like us to write a strong letter to New Forest District Council from the members, take into account that Sean has been negotiating with the District Council. We understand that, and we understand they have some health and safety concerns, and we are happy to put something in place. Is that right, Sean, to address that? Is that right?
Yeah.
But the fact that we have had to drive this to try and get the office open, is not acceptable. Right? If we hadn't been complaining, they wouldn't have come round, would they? And I didn't realise all the other offices were open, and this clearly is not acceptable. And we must write to them in the strongest possible terms that we want this office open as soon as possible. We will do what we have to do to make the office safe for the NFDC officers, but they've got to come down and do the bit that they should be doing. And every complaint that we get, we'll send on to them. Every member, I don't care if it's whatever it is, we just send it on to them, because people have been complaining. Our staff have had to pick up the outfall of the fact that there's no NFDC there. In a time of pandemic where we're having increased unemployment and serious financial impact for very many of our residents, they can't find about housing support, housing benefit or otherwise. It's not acceptable. We have to stick up for the local residents of Hythe and Dibden. So we need to write in the strongest terms. And if they want to have a discussion with me, I have no problem with that at all, anyone at any level in that council, right? So please, if they want to discuss it, no problem at all. I'm happy to join in with that, but we've got to get this fixed. Okay, so we all right to do that, Tracy? We knock someone up tomorrow, please. Thank you very much. Right, thank you for bringing that up. That's a really important issue to Alex and Stephanie. Thank you very much. Melody, you're next.
Councillor Wade, I had one other
sorry,
question.
far away. You had one for me, didn't you?
Damn,
I nearly got one.
Could I ask you that you advertise or encourage better advertising and consistent advertising, maybe even through our parish facilities, of the roadworks, the dates and whereabouts they're going to be working on? Just for clarification, we still get questions from residents with regard to the A326. There are going to be hold-ups, of course, but if we can try and be as transparent, or the county be transparent as possible, and make sure they're consistently shared, even if it's in Hythe here, even if it's on social media, on the notice boards, then we can try and just ensure that as many people are aware of it, because, as I say, there will be people who might not be aware of the dates, sir.
Does the county let us know as a parish? Don't, do they? Okay. What I think we need to do, we need to write to Hampshire County Council, Highway Department, requesting the information Alex has asked for. I raised the issue about the gasworks on Prospect Place, because the first I knew about it was when the road was nearly blocked up, was one way. And apparently they don't have to, if it's a public service operation, they don't have to let the parish council know. Which is amazing, really, especially for that amount of disruption. So yeah, if we write to the parish council, the Hampshire County Council Highway Department requesting that information, I think we should do that. And if they give any problem with that, let me know and I'll write to them as the county councillor. It's okay.
County councillor, we can also, the parish can have make sure the link to the works on the county website is shared as widely as the parish can feasibly possible as well. That is also a short-term win.
But I did send a link to everybody at some stage.
We did, but indeed,
you could look on to that, didn't I? Pardon?
Indeed, you did, Chair. You did.
Okay, right. Is that done, Alex? Right, Stephanie, you haven't got any more, have you? RTS. Is that take that? No, then. Okay. The next is Melody.
Thank you, Chairman. I know you reported the flooding that happens every time it rains outside of Bell's furniture shop. You reported it last time, didn't you?
I did, yes.
And it's happened again this weekend. Is there going to be any solution, do you know, or is it just the fact that it floods in Hythe when it rains?
Right, could you? Because of my connection, I didn't quite catch. Which was the location you said? Sorry, I didn't.
Outside of Bell's furniture shop in Hythe that always floods. I know you.
You mean in the between Waitrose and
yes.
Well, I've reported it. What it needs, there's two issues here. Climate change is producing deluges of water, rainwater, in shorter periods of time than we've had in the past. The overall volume of water that falls on Hythe and Dibden is probably no greater, but it's coming in a quicker period of time. And the drains can't cope. It takes time for them to go. What we need to do, we have to do is make sure the drains are regularly jetted through to make sure they're clear. Well, Hythe isn't the only place in Hampshire that have got problems with drains, as you can imagine. So yeah, all we need to do is, if it happens again, report it on the website, or send it to me. I'll put it on the website again, and we'll continually batter them with reports until they put in a more permanent solution. I'm afraid it's data-driven and solutions are what are required here. The more data that we supply Hampshire County Council blockages, the more they will put more resource into getting them unblocked, and me nagging them, of course, which I do on a regular basis. Okay.
Thank you.
Next is Alan.
Thank you, Chairman. Going back on your comments about the Grove, could I ask that when things like that come up, we make sure we inform the public that it's the New Forest District Council that are at fault, not the parish council. The information desk there is New Forest, it's not parish, but the parish gets the blame for it. So can we make sure, if anything like that, that we make sure that we've got the information out that it's New Forest, not parish, so that we're not held in a bad light?
It's a good point. Tracy, Sean, do you have any respond how we could do that? Because people just think of the council, don't they?
Yeah.
Any ideas how we can do that? Except put a blinking sign on the door.
Sorry, I was a bit slow there, but there is a big sign on the door saying New Forest Information Office is closed, and that
Right.
and there's guidance what the public should do. So I think people are aware, but the district are adamant that they have not received one complaint from this community to their customer services, and I was informed that there's not one complaint. So we need to encourage the people to complain.
I totally agree. Right, I feel Facebook Hythe can comment on for this. Okay, that's a very good point. But we are going to make sure we complain going forward. Hang on, I've got a list here, Steph. Did you want to come back on this particular issue?
Yeah, just to join Sean, really, that I feel that we need to have the contact details, the email, whatever they want to hear from our residents on the door too. And then maybe they'll have a chance, because I've not had much luck complaining about anything to the district council myself lately.
Well, they're going to get a letter from us, aren't they? Okay, right, Philip.
Yes, was the chairman aware of the flooding on Fawley Road? Normally, when there's a lot of rain, there's flooding on Butts Ash Hill. Well, not the hill itself, but obviously the valley bit. But since the development on Fawley Road, that flooding seems to have moved. I don't know whether that's just coincidence or whether that's an issue of the poor drainage in the new development.
Right, which part? How far along Fawley Road from the development is the flooding?
Well, it's where the road's at the lowest. But I mean, in all the years I've gone down that road, I've never seen flooding on Fawley Road. It's always been Butts Ash Hill.
Okay.
Can I just pitch in, Mr. Chairman, and say it's near the entrance, because I went through it. As Philip mentioned, I went through it on Sunday, and it's right near the quarry gate. Is it just further down from the quarry gates?
It's north of the quarry gates, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, what we need to do, we need to report this on the HCC website. The reason we need to do that, because highway department won't act unless it's reported on the website. Even for councillors, you've got to report it on the website. Once it's on the website and report it, every time it floods, it becomes a highway issue. Now, if the drainage on that site should have nothing to do with the highways. If they are somehow draining into the highway drain, they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. So we need to approach it, get Hampshire Highways to investigate it, but we have to report it on the website. So could I encourage you to do that? And if you don't get any response from Hampshire, just beyond the normal one, yes, it's been registered, nothing's done, you come to me, and then I go to the Hampshire Highways as your local county councillor. Is that okay?
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Right, Matt, you're next.
Yeah, it's just that's a bit of a moan, Chairman. A couple of weeks ago, I reported some dangerous bollards out the kebab shop, and there's not even been a bit of tape to take them off, and they're quite dangerous. And Hythe is quite unsafe and quite uneven anyway, and I just really worry about our elderly folk are going to trip and fall and really damage themselves. Okay. So I'm just wondering if you could, as our county councillor, please chase that up.
Right. First of all, has Have you the bollards are down the cut?
So they're
between-
outside the kebab shop. I reported them on the website 2 weeks ago.
All right. Have you got a job number for this? Because we send it to you.
Yes, I've got a reference.
Email
number,
me
yes.
the job number and with a few lines about what it is, and I will use that email to chase up the highway department to get it repaired. I reported the one by the ferry pierhead this week, and I gave them a nice little photo, the wooden one that someone's knocked down with.
Yeah, see, these are the same type of bollards by the kebab shop, but they
send me an email if you've got a picture. Great.
Yeah, I've already sent them photos, Malcolm.
Well, you send them to me.
Send them to you, yeah.
And with the job number, I'll chase it up. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Malcolm.
Okay. Right. Are there any more? No. Excellent. Right. Now we go to item 11, to the planning committee to receive the delegated decisions of the planning committee. I call Alex Wade to present the minutes of the meeting. The minutes of the planning committee. Pages 13 to 18, members.
Thank you very much, Chairman. As is becoming, well, the status quo at the moment, once again, as a committee, all councillors brilliantly met the standard deadline for the planning committee by sending in their comments over a collection of issues and the consultations, and I am incredibly grateful for that. All the information was received at the deadline, and I thank the officers for sending our comments onto the district as per normal as well. It's really appreciated. Thank you very much. It's not ideal, we would like to do it in person, but for the moment it's been working very well. Thank you to all officers and councillors on the planning committee. I'll go through all the minutes page by page, and if you have any challenges then please advise. Okay, so we start on page 13.
I've got one, Chairman, actually. As Chairman of Planning. It doesn't state here, but my ongoing interest, which is why I don't comment because I'm on the New Forest District Planning Committee. Does that need to be registered on these minutes, Tracy?
Yeah.
So that needs to be implanted on the minutes that I have because I'm on the NFDC Planning Committee. I therefore do not comment on these.
Of course, we will get that added. It is emailed, but obviously as a
so it's got to be an ongoing thing. It's just
we will ensure that make sure it's added each month.
Thank
councillor.
you very much.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So page 13, page 14, including the one that I didn't comment on, which was number H, and then page 15, which is the tree applications. There were quite a lot of tree applications this month. Page 16, page 17. Page 17 was our consultation with regards to the information that the parish likes to see on planning applications, and I gave quite a detailed response on what we feel we would like to see, and hopefully you'll appreciate the comments that I made as well. So are we all happy that they're a fair reflection of the meeting, ladies and gentlemen?
Good. Okay.
So I propose them as minutes to be accepted. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. We now go to item 12. I call on Councillor Osborne to present approve the minutes of the Climate Emergency Committee held on the 13th of October, and then take us through the recommendations, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, on the 13th of October at 10:30, we had the second meeting, and I'll just go through the pages by page number first. So it's page 38, page 39.
Why have you got different page numbers to me?
Am I?
Yeah, you should be
They're
on
the ones
page
that-
19.
They're the ones at the top, Chairman.
Oh, I see.
What?
Right, no, yeah, but you've got to go by the numbers at the bottom, actually. Page number at the bottom.
Page 40.
Pardon?
Page 40 is at the bottom of my agenda. The minutes I approved, anyway.
Okay.
No, I give up. I resign.
No, don't do that. It's 19 to 22, actually.
Okay, I'll send you this and you can see. All right, so the recommendations. Just a minute. The recommendations are that we appoint Lumina as the parish council's chosen energy broker. bring the utilities renewal date in line by investigating new tariffs to run until 2023. Delegated powers be given to the chairman of the Climate Emergency Committee and the Maintenance and Facilities Supervisor to sign off the best price tariffs of energy prices are subject to change at very short notice.
You got one more.
What?
Yeah. It's about the cycle to work scheme.
Okay, hang on a minute. The parish council support any of their employees who may wish to take up the opportunity for the cycle to work scheme.
To purchase new bicycle and accessories for the cycle to work scheme. Can we agree these on block, Tracy, or do we have to do them one at a time?
Sorry, 2 seconds. Can I just come back on the delegation of powers? Because you can't delegate to a councillor. Was that delegated to Marcus in consultation with the
That's
councillor?
what it means. It's delegated to the maintenance facility supervisor in consultation with the chairman of the committee.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what it it means, really.
Yeah.
Okay. With that small amendment, can we agree these on block, or do we need to do them individually?
No, that's fine.
Right, members, can I have a proposition to agree these recommendations on block? Can I have it be?
I'd like to propose the 4 recommendations.
Seconder?
I'll second that, Chairman.
Right, these are significant from the committee, so we're going to go through the roll again, okay? Councillor Mark Clark?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Councillor Sean Cullen?
Agreed, Chairman.
Sandra Delamere?
Agreed, Chairman.
Councillor Philip Dowd?
Agreed, Chairman.
Councillor Adam Fairhead?
Agreed, Chairman.
Councillor Matthew Kitcher?
Agreed, Chairman.
Councillor Simon Lodge?
Agreed, Chairman.
Councillor Stephanie Osborne?
Agreed, Chairman.
Councillor Melody Roberts?
Agreed, Chairman.
Councillor Alex Wade?
Agreed, Chairman.
And I, Malcolm Wade, also agree. That is unanimous. Thank you very much for that. Now, members, we go to, and by the way, we agree, you all agree that the minutes are a true record, don't you? Good, okay. Excellent. So we now go to item 13, the Communications Working Group. Receive notes of the Communications Working Group meeting held on the 23rd of December. Pages 20 through to 24.
Mr. Chairman, I apologise. I don't have my notes in front of me. I came from other meetings before and I don't have those notes. So would you do me the honour of just going through them?
I will always do you an honour. Okay. Right, members, please turn to pages, because I was at this meeting, to, actually, it's not got me at this. Why am I not in attendance? I thought I was in attendance to this meeting.
I believe you were, Mr. Chairman.
But I'm not on the list. Can we have the minutes amended to show my attendance, please? How can you miss the chairman? I don't know. Right, okay. It just shows none of us are that important.
You're
right,
so
okay.
quiet, that's why.
That's what it is. Okay, members, I go to page 23 and page 24. Right, do you agree, apart from that admission, that these are a true record? Is everybody agreed? Thumbs up, please, for this. Okay. Right, okay, thank you, members. We now go to item 13, the Communications Working Group. No, sorry, my apologies. The Christmas Lights and Mistletoe Fair Working Group. And we have 4 recommendations on this. And I know Sean wants to speak on one of them. Matthew, would you like to present these, the meeting minutes, please?
Okay, then, members.
25 to
We'll
28.
go through the minutes, and then after that, as Chairman has correctly said, we will go through the recommendations. So, with that being said, it is page 25.
Well done.
Page 26 and page 27. Can we have a show of hands if that's the correct recommendation, the correct true representation?
Agreed.
Okay, with that being said, we will move on to the recommendations. Now, I think before we do that, I think Sean wants to speak on one of them. So, Sean, if you'd like to come in there, please, that'd be great.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to speak on part B of this item, which is the fire engine. So if you kindly can do your recommendations, and then this will be a follow-on.
Okay, then. Chairman, did you want to agree on these as a block, or did you want to do them individually?
I'm happy for us to go through them on block. Is that okay, Tracy? Yep. Okay. Go through them all, and then we'll just decide on block.
Okay, then. Let's go through them as a block then. So, first on my iPad is Councillor Malcolm Wade.
Oh no, you've got to go. You've got to read them out, Matt.
Oh,
First.
read them out. Sorry, sorry, Malcolm. So, number 1 is that the council agrees to hold a Christmas competition. Number 2 is ward members agree to act as judges for properties in their wards. Number 3, a sum of up to £500 is made available from the Christmas lights budget to fund prizes. And finally, number 4, the Christmas lights working group and the communications working group work together to provide the rules and the publicity for the competition.
Okay.
Okay, with that being said, is that where now you want to vote on them, Malcolm?
Yeah, would you like me to read out the roll then?
I say that again, sorry.
I'll read out the roll to help you out because I've got it in my hand.
Okay, go for it.
Mark Clark.
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sean Cullen.
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra Delamere.
Agreed, Chairman.
Philip Dowd.
Agreed.
Alan Fairhead.
Agreed, Chairman.
Matthew Kitcher.
I will, of course, agree, Chairman.
Simon Lodge.
Agreed, Chairman.
Stephanie Osborne.
Agreed, Chairman.
Melody Roberts.
Agreed, Chairman.
Alex Wade.
Agreed, Chairman.
Malcolm Wade. Me, and I agree. It's unanimous. Go for it. Now over to Sean, isn't it?
Very briefly, members, at that meeting, I think members were quite disheartened that our normal provision can't be provided this year in terms of the big Christmas tree in the marsh. So there was a very good debate about what alternatives we could provide. One of them was, I don't know if you remember, the Christmas fire engine. It usually pops around about Christmas time, very loud Christmas carols and flashing lights, and is a great community asset. It's been missing for a few years, and Helen's done some investigation as she was requested to do. She's found out that the fire engine was sold by the previous owner to a new owner. They would like to get the fire engine back up and running, but because of the time that's passed, a lot of the equipment that was on the fire engine is no longer fit for purpose. As a result of the discussions between Helen and the fire engine's new owner, they need some new lights and a sound system, and the cost of that is $350, and the cost of a generator, I suppose, to run that sound system and the lights is $229. So there's a couple of questions from members there. As we're not providing our Christmas tree this year, would members like to support the fire engine to enable it to be out and about in our parish this year? And if so, would they like to provide all the funding or some of it? And if so, I can assure you there's money left in the Christmas light budget, so the council can contribute, or would district councillors like to do so from their allowance? Which, if the council support the fire engine, they've agreed to carry a banner saying this has been supported by Hythe Dibden Parish Council. So just to summarise there, really, the lights and sound are £350, the cost of the generator is $229, and the total's $579. Up to you, members.
I've got a question, Sean. Does this fire engine charity have a business account?
I don't have that information, Chairman.
Okay. All right. Well, members, what do you want to do?
Malcolm, I had an RTS.
Oh, well done. Good. Thank you. I've got 2 RTSs now. Yep. Fire away.
Yeah, so it was just to say, members, I think I'm a little bit biased when I say this, as I am the chairman of the Christmas Lights group, but I just think that if this is going to provide some source of fun within the parish and within the village, I think that we should go ahead and wholeheartedly support the decision to make and fund it completely. from the parish council. I think that this is, you know, we can't have a Santa's grotto and we can't have mistletoe fair. So I think let's get on with it and let's provide something for the parish of Hythe and Dibden. Thank you.
Okay. Alan, I've got Alan next.
Yes, Chairman. Matthew's just taken the words out of my mouth. I wholeheartedly agree with him that the parish should support this all the way. We've got to look after the kids. We've got to give them something to look forward to. We can't do the mistletoe fair. We can't supply Santa as usual on the train. So yeah, let's just pay the money and get what's needed. If it's got a ban, we've done it, better still. But yes, we've got to do it for the kids.
Sandra? Sandra, yeah.
Right, sorry, yeah, trouble unmuting. Yeah, no, I'm minded to agree with Matt and Alan. Just a thought, Sean, you said about the money, there was still some money in the Christmas lights. How much of a shortfall would that make? But
we've got a shortfall. We've got a surplus this year, Sandra, because we're not buying a big Christmas tree for the Marsh. So that money will just reduce some of that, but we've got plenty of money this year.
okay, thank you.
Alex?
Yes, I completely echo the comments of my previous councillors. The Christmas engine is just one of the things that is just so charming and almost feels sometimes unique to our community. And we all remember it fondly, some of us more recently than others. And I just think it's an amazing tradition that someone has very kindly chosen to try and keep going. And if we can support it, you know, and make something socially distant, but still have the feel of Christmas for our community, I think it's really, really important. The fact it's not been going for the last few years has been a big regret. And I hope that by showing our support for it, we can try and bring a bit of Christmas cheer when everyone needs it. I would also like to pay tribute to the officers and the Christmas Light Working Group, particularly for their hard work on this matter, and thank Helen and Sean and Marcus and officers for their excellent hard work. And as I say, dealing with all the requests that we had from the Christmas Lights and Working Group Committee. So thank you.
Right, I've got a Melody now, please.
Yes, Chairman, thank you. I propose that we also accept and contribute all that we need for this brilliant fire engine that goes around and cheers everybody up. We need something desperate. Well, I propose we accept payment in full.
Do you have a second?
I would like to second Councillor Roberts.
Right, I mean, because originally we were going to sort of split it with some district council funding, but funding may find that may be needed for other things now. So, yeah, do we need to vote on this? So we need to vote on this.
I just think, Malcolm, if we've got a surplus and we're not providing the tree this year, I just think it's a good idea that we should.
Yeah, Tracy, do we need to vote on this? As it's from an existing budget?
Yeah, we still need to vote against to authorise the expenditure.
Okay. Yeah. Eyes down for a full house. Here we go. We have a proposition to fund to the cost of £579 the Christmas fire engine. Support for or against. Mark?
Absolutely approved, Mr. Chairman. Great initiative.
Good. Sean?
Ho, 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 and yes, I approve.
Okay, Sandra?
Yes, Chairman, support.
There are no prizes for Christmas ho-hos, by the way. Philip?
4.
Alan?
4.
Matthew?
I can say no other than 4, Mr. Chairman.
Simon?
4.
Stephanie?
4.
Alex?
4.
And I'm 4 too, so it's unanimous. Excellent. Well done. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Sean and Matthew. That's a really good recommendation. Okay, we now go to item 15, the economic development and tourism working group, pages 29 to 32. And I'll present those because I am the chairman of that one, I think. Yes, right, here we go. Members, if you'll turn to page 29, I will go through it a page at a time. 29, 30, 31. Do you all agree that that is a true record? Those of you that are on the committee? Okay. Right, excellent. We now go to item 16, the office spaces and play equipment. Now, this has a significant number of recommendations. In fact, I don't think in 30 years I've seen so many recommendations from a working group to a council meeting ever before. So well done to the officers for putting them all together. I think we will need to go through. We need to go through these actually. First of all, have you all seen the notes, pages 33 to 36? Who's going to present the minutes of that?
I will, Chairman.
Good. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Sandra.
Yes. I think some of the reason why it's such a long list, Chairman, is that this is the first meeting of this working group for this entire new council.
Yeah.
So it's about 18 months worth of work.
Yeah.
And as it's one of the major groups in the council, well, it's the highest expenditure one, I think, or pretty nearly. What I was thinking, Chairman, I could go through them. I could go through the recommendations. I'll go through the minutes, but the ones that are expensive we can look at, but some of the others we can sort of.
Well, if you present the minutes and then go through the recommendations.
Okay, right. The minutes, they're on page, well, the notes as they're called, page 33, 34, 35 and 36. And I believe you've had extra notes on some of the other stuff that's on the recommendations. Now, does anybody disagree with those notes as a correct record of the meeting?
Everyone agree?
No.
Good.
All agree. Right, so the recommendations, adopting the terms of reference for the group, then the Ewart Rec play area refurbishment, £70,000 from earmarked reserves to be allocated to carry out the work, and a further £30,000 provided from the.
Can I just ask Tracy a question here, Sandra, before you carry on? Do we need to, because of the sums of money involved, do we need to go through, agree these individually, or do we have to do them on block?
Yeah, no, I would suggest you do these individually.
Okay, well, all of them.
Yes, that's what I was going to suggest, Chairman, when I was saying some of these recommendations don't need a big discussion and things, but there are some hefty sums of money involved. So, and this is one.
Would you like me to read out the roll if you give the recommendation, or do you want to do it?
Yes, you can read out the roll.
Okay.
So the recommendation, we're recommending that the Ewart Rec play area be refurbished in the next 12 months, £70,000 from earmarked reserves, and to allocate a further 30,000 for the
provided by the budget. Okay, all those in favour.
Chairman, do we not need to do the terms of reference first?
Well, I was going to suggest we do the terms of reference at the same time. Let's be a bit flexible. Right.
Unless anybody's got an objection to the terms of reference,
no.
I don't think we need to go through the whole roll for each of these recommendations, because a lot of them.
Let's just go through the roll for the ones with a lot of money in, and then take the others on block.
Yeah.
All right, Tracy?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So we'll go through the ones that require funding, and then go do the rest on block. How about that?
Chair, I have an RTS.
Oh, sorry, Alex, gone.
The money quoted for the play area, Europe Recreation Ground, it won't surprise you. I'm obviously going to support the recommendation. I think it's an amazing park. It's the flagship one in our community. It's one that I regularly use with my little boy, and it's important. But I just wanted to ask, bear in mind, obviously, it's an important key player, and if the money that's quoted, it has been investigated. And bear in mind, we're looking at possible putting a zip wire back. We're going to hopefully find some adapted facilities. Is that figure likely to change in any way or not? Because I just wanted to clarify whether it's too big or too little, and just understand sort of where the 100k came from. That was all.
Sean, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, we're confident that we can provide another flagship play area for the sums quoted.
Chairman, can I just come in for the moment?
Yeah.
Can I just say that on some of these, obviously you agree in a ballpark figured amount, but obviously you'd then go into quotations and bring that back to council.
Of course.
For the actual spend.
Yeah, there'll be tenders and detailed finances when they're done. But this is the money we've allocated to it to start the process going.
Yeah.
Over to you, Sandra. Oh,
sorry, I was just going to say, don't forget some of this. If it's new equipment, you can use your seal funding.
Yes,
infrastructure.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got item 2, which is the big one. Let's start again. Mark. Mark.
Sorry, muted. Fine, Mr. Chairman. Approve.
4. Yeah, good.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, Sean.
4, Chairman.
Sandra.
4, Chairman.
Obviously. Philip. Well, you're the chairman of this one. I'm just doing it for you. But Philip.
4.
Alan.
4.
Matthew.
4, Chairman.
Simon.
4, Chairman.
Stephanie.
4, Chairman.
Melody.
4.
Alex.
I gave a spoiler earlier. 4.
And myself. 4. Yeah, back to you, Sandra.
Right, thank you, Chairman. The council adopts the ash dieback action plan, which for 2025, or rather 2020 to 2025. I believe you've all been circulated details of these action plans and management policies and so on. So there's the ash dieback. Number 4 is the council adopts the tree management policy for 2020 to 25. Number 5, the council adopts a tree risk management strategy for 2020-25. They will be in the en bloc group. Number 6, the cost to alter the parish council website to provide more information regarding trees is investigated. There's an awful lot of casework. I mean, I get people ringing me up about trees, and it takes up a lot of time. And the idea is that parish website, there's something on there to explain to people about the importance of trees, and we just have to put up with a few leaves falling off them and twigs and whatnot, but and explaining to people about that. And it did strike me when I was looking through these notes, further on there's a bit about the wildflowers, and similarly letting the wildflowers grow, people think they're all a load of weeds and they're not happy with that. So that's another bit of education for the residents, so they can understand what the thinking behind all this is. But the idea is to investigate the cost of doing that, adding it to the website. Right, another monies one, number 7, the council allocates £5,000 of funds from the general reserves to cover any deficit in this year's tree budget.
Do you want me to read it out, Chairman? Sandra?
Oh, that was it. I read it out.
Pardon? No, do you want me to read out the roll, I meant?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry, Chairman.
Right, Mark?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sean?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra?
Agreed.
Philip?
Agreed.
Alan?
Agreed.
Matthew?
Agreed.
Simon?
Agreed.
Stephanie?
Yeah, definitely agreed.
Melody?
Agreed.
Alex?
I agree, but I think it should go on record the amazing bit of work on the 3 reports that we've received on this from the officers, particularly Marcus, Sean and the team. Thank you.
Well said. I totally agree with that. Well done, officers. And I agree as well. Okay. Back to you, Sandra.
Thank you. Where have I got to? The council, yeah, number 8, the council increases the tree budget in relation to the ash dieback situation by £5,000 per year. That's an ongoing thing every year. We've got 140 ash trees. They won't necessarily all have to go at once. The idea is to do it as and when it's needed, but to put 5,000 in the budget each year for that.
All right, members, are you ready?
Could you
to go
do
again?
the roll, Chairman, please?
Yep. Mark?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sean?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra?
Yes, Chairman.
Philip?
Agreed.
Alan?
Agreed.
Matthew?
Agreed, Chairman.
Simon?
Agreed.
Stephanie?
Agreed.
Melody?
Agreed.
Alex?
Agreed.
And myself, I agree. Back to you, Sandra.
Right, thank you, Chairman. Item 9, request that an additional sum of £3,000 be allocated to the tree budget to allow for the removal of the underscore at Corinna Gardens. The underscore being all the sort of shrubbery stuff underneath the trees and so on. And it's needed. Sorry, I don't know if Marcus could explain a bit so that people can understand about this underscore business, please.
Yeah, of course. So the underscore, for those who haven't had a chance to read all the notes, we have a problem with rhododendrons and Portuguese laurel. And what it does is it doesn't, not only does it starve the natural vegetation there, it also encourages more things like fly tipping and garden waste and things like that, because it's just hidden away. So the idea is that we try an area first, and Corinna Gardens, as a lot of councillors will know, is an area that we've had a lot of complaints and issues from this. So the idea is we'll try it, we'll move a load of underscore and then see what happens.
Thank you, Marcus. Right, so if you could go through the roll call again, please, Malcolm.
Okay.
£3,000 for the moving the underscore.
Approved, Mr. Chairman.
Sean?
Approved, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra?
Approved.
Philip?
Yeah, anything that gets rid of rhododendrons.
Oh, they're not all bad. Matthew?
Chairman, my Wi-Fi cut out, so I didn't actually hear half of that, so I think I should abstain.
Okay. Simon?
I agree.
Stephanie?
Agree, but I love rhododendrons.
Melody?
I agree, but I love rhododendrons as well.
Alex?
I'm just happy to support the recommendation. I have no comments on rhododendrons.
I agree as well. Rhododendrons are rhododendrons.
Don't
Back
you
to
want
you,
to ask
Sandra.
me? Don't you want
Thank
to
you.
ask me? You jumped me,
Sorry, did I
item-
miss you, Alan? Sorry.
but I agree.
Thank you. My apologies for that.
Oh,
I didn't realise.
thank you, Alan.
If I could just ask a question there, by doing this, does this make the whole area look more like a park rather than a shrubland?
Yeah, so the idea will be, Alan, that once we remove the underscore out, because it's all very dense dark green, it will allow the natural light to get back in, and we'll see what sort of seed bank we've actually got in the ground there.
Lovely.
And then hopefully it'll start to regenerate, even if that's trees or wildflowers. We just don't know what's under there. And at the moment, with the rhododendron, it just suppresses everything.
Right, lovely. Thanks.
Okay, members.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's yours. Getting confused. Then.
Yeah, we still got more to go, Malcolm.
Yeah, sorry, it's too keen.
Right. Item 10, the Communications Working Group be tasked with sharing the message to the public about protecting the woodland of the parish. Item 11, the Communications Working Group be tasked with gauging public opinion about the planting of wildflowers in the parish. 12, ward members to identify verges in their wards which may be suitable for planting wildflowers. 13, the council seek advice on the species of wildflowers that are already present in identified verges, because there might be some really rare stuff and, you know, important stuff in there that we don't really know about. 14, that the council agrees in principle to the provision of a youth shelter, litter bin and seat at Nodewood School. And 15, the council earmarks up to £10,000 for the project, that's the youth shelter. However, a final cost will be provided to the council prior to proceeding with the purchase.
Sounds like Marcus will be busy.
So that's another one for the role. 10,000 for the youth shelter, litter bin and seat. That
Can we vote for all
discussed
of
at other
these now,
meetings.
Tracy?
Sorry?
I was asking, we can vote for all of them now, all the ones we haven't voted for.
Oh, no,
already.
no. This one's another money one. And then if we vote for all,
All right. Okay.
if we vote, if we vote,
Okay, we're going for the money one first.
yeah, do the money one first, and then
Okay.
Can
So
I just clarify before we vote? Does that include Wi-Fi as well?
I'm not.
It only mentions the hard stuff.
At this point, I'd have to say I don't know, Philip. I'll
Okay.
to use the Wi-Fi that's already present in the school grounds.
yeah, that's a work in progress, but it'd be good to put Wi-Fi in there. Okay, we're now going to do on item 15. Mark.
Approved, Mr. Chairman.
Sean.
Approved, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra.
Approved, Chairman.
Philip.
Agreed.
Alan.
Approved.
Matthew.
I'll approve that, Chairman.
Simon.
Approve.
Stephanie.
Approve.
Melody.
Approve.
Alex.
Approved.
And I approve. It is unanimous. Back to you, Sandra.
Well, then, unless anybody's any objections to any of the other things, the terms of reference, ash dieback action plan, tree management policy, tree risk management strategy, the communication stuff on what we're doing with the open spaces, like the trees, the wildflowers, and so on. And councillors looking at likely wildflower areas for their wards, from their wards. I don't know if you want to go through and vote on that, or if people just indicate
As
if they
there's
don't
so
agree.
many, shall we vote on it? Then it's all tied up properly.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark.
Approved, Mr. Chairman.
Sean.
Agreed, Chairman.
Sandra.
Agree, Chairman.
Philip.
Agree all. Thank you.
Alan.
Agree to it all.
Matthew.
Chairman, I will agree to them all. Thank you.
Thank you. Simon.
Agree all.
Stephanie.
Agree all.
Melody.
Agree.
Alex.
I'll agree on block, Chairman.
And I agree on block as well. Well done, members. Now we go to item. Oh no, it's yours. Sorry, I'm so used to running this meeting. I've got to keep quiet. Oh, it's still you, Sandra.
Sorry?
Part B.
Oh, play area cleaning. Right.
Do you want me to,
What was that?
Sandra, do you want me to?
Then it's councillor appointments. Is that the one?
No,
to
no,
appoint a
no.
member
It's play area cleaning. Sean's going to talk about it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Sean. I hadn't really.
Thank you,
Sure.
Sandra. Just very briefly, members, as you recall, the council has been deep cleaning all its play areas once a week in response to the COVID concerns. We agreed we would look at it in September or October. So all I'm seeking now is, do you want to continue with the once weekly cleaning of our play equipment, or would you like to have a more sort of pragmatic approach where I think we spoke to Tracy as well. They've stopped their deep cleaning up there, but they will do 2 proper deep cleans on their play areas a year. my recommendation, members, would be we cease the deep cleaning every week, and then we sort of follow Tracy's suggestion is we have a deep clean which gets into all the equipment twice a year. We change our signage and our publicity, which recommends to members of the public that they bring their sanitizer and they take some responsibility for their hands, their cleanliness, and trying to reduce the spread of COVID. So just another thing, the cost at the moment is £275 a week to clean those play areas. Up to you, members.
What?
Do you want us to carry on, or?
Malcolm, you have an RTS from Alex and then Alan.
No, it's Sandra. Sanders.
Oh, do I still have to do? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, I was taking over earlier. I've got to stand back. It's
Oh,
Sanders'
right.
bit.
Right. Anybody like to comment? Oh dear, I'm supposed to look at the
So
RTS.
it was Alex and then Alan, Sandra.
And then Simon.
And then
All right,
Simon.
thank you. Right,
No
Alex.
worries.
Thank you very much. And you've done, I'd like to firstly praise you. It's an incredible agenda on the Player Equipment Working Party, Sandra. You've done an incredible job. Thank you. On this matter, I think the fact that we open the play areas has been a massive benefit physically and mental well-being of our younger residents and their families, and keeping them open. Staff have done an incredible job. If we are following consistent habits of the rest of councils around the country, then I happily would support the recommendations from the officers, because they're the experts on this matter. The priority for me is keeping them open, even as we get to the wet and cold months. They're still really busy, particularly on the Saturdays and Sundays that I've been going down with my son. And I think the priority has to be keeping them open, especially the ones in the larger ones in the village centres. So I welcome the comments by Parish Clerk, and I think we probably should support the recommendation, but the priority for me is keeping them open.
Alan's next, Chairman.
Sorry?
Alan is next.
Alan?
Thank you. As I assume, we've had no complaints about cleaning at all in there, and hearing what we've just heard about other areas, no problems occurring, I think we should go on the recommendation of deep cleaning instead of every week, twice a year. If there's a problem, if government guidelines tell us otherwise, then we'll come back to the situation.
Absolutely.
Look at it. But again, like Alex, thank you to you and your working group for getting the report out, and for the officers for looking into it and taking care of it.
Thank you, Alan. I must say,
Simon.
it's down to Sean and Marcus, the producing all the paperwork and the thing. I was literally just chairing the meeting. Simon?
I'd like to play devil's advocate. I don't agree with it. I think as we're now entering the second phase of COVID, I don't think we should alter anything just yet. I think we should wait and see how the impact of this is going to get worse over the next coming weeks. And I think changing it to a twice a year thing at this stage is not the right thing to do. I think we should wait and see what's happening with our numbers, etc., in our area. And I think we should stay as we are. The reason that we've had no complaints about anything is because we have taken the action of cleaning it once a week. If we reduce that at the start of the second phase, I don't think that's a good move.
Right, thank you, Simon. Right, what have I got?
It's me.
Stephanie.
Steph.
Yeah. So anyway, yesterday, the chairman, Sandra, and myself were down at the park with the officers, and I can assure you the whole lot got a very good wash. So time of year is things. Cold weather and the amount of rain we've got would almost, sort of make it a waste of money. I feel the officers are advising us as usual correctly in that a deep clean every now and again would be the correct thing to do, rather than ongoing with the amount that's being paid out currently. And parents, yes, to be made responsible, because that's going to be better, I think, to cover each person if they bring their own sanitizer.
Thank you.
Next.
Thank you, Steph. Matthew?
I would also like to play devil's advocate with Simon, and I will not be accepting these recommendations purely because I think, again, if the R number and the second wave is now here, there is nothing to say that inevitably that it's not going to get worse progressively over time. So I personally think we shouldn't be making a decision at all tonight, and I don't feel it's the right thing to do. I think twice a year is too little at this present time. So yeah, I'll be voting against the recommendations. Thank you, Sandra.
Thanks, Matt. Sean?
So if we didn't deep clean, would we still carry some sort of normal cleaning operations periodically?
To answer that
so I suppose, yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, so we will always carry out the daily checks and everything like that. And we will always empty the bins and make sure the places are clean. So we're not talking about dropping our standards from that. I think what it is it's come about because a lot of councils are concerned that because of the weather, and we're going into times when people tend not to use the play areas so much because of the weather. You know, we've gone through the summer period, and people are getting more used to taking responsibility for themselves. I mean, one thing we could look at, and I know that some councils are aware of it, is the QR codes. So when we put the new, if you wanted us to discontinue the weekly clean, we could put a QR code in there as well. So when people actually enter the play area, they scan, and that would work in the track and trace, same as you do when you go to a parish hall or you go to any other venue.
Okay, in that case, I would support the motion. I mean, from 2 points of view. One, I know although the sun's not out there and the UV is not going to be killing the virus, the fact that there's, as you say, the weather's inclement and there's a lot of rain, that's effectively washing it down anyway. So if there's any virus particles on there, they get washed off the play equipment via that. Plus, people take responsibility, as you say, you know, for their own personal safety. I think everyone's got that message now about hands, face, space. So I would support the deep clean twice a year.
Thank you, Sean. Philip?
Could there possibly be a middle ground? If the feeling is that it's not necessary each week, but twice a year is too little, if there was a monthly clean in the interim, and then, because obviously we're at a stage where we're not sure how serious this second wave is going to be. We know there have been COVID cases in 3 of our local schools. Maybe once a month in the interim, and then come back to this one at a later meeting might be the best way forward.
Thank you, Philip. I've got several people saying good discussion. Matt doesn't agree that the rain will get rid of the virus.
I have
Matt,
an
you've got
RTS.
you've got another
yeah,
RTS,
I have another
Matt.
RTS anyway, Sandra.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the virus as a whole anyway, it's metal that it progressively lives on quite well. So I just think that, you know, moving it to twice a year is not enough to kill it. And, you know, we are coming into the colder months, and, you know, flu viruses, cold viruses, I don't know how coronavirus plays, but they thrive quite well in these conditions. So I just, you know, I think we should be careful that surfaces like this are going to be quite high risk. And I just don't think that, you know, a little rain shower is going to be enough to kill this virus. I'm sorry.
Sorry, can I just quickly come back on that, Matt? I'm not talking about the rain killing the virus. The idea is like when we wash our hands with soap and water, by washing our hands and rinsing our hands, that flushes away the virus particles.
Yeah, but my thing is, though, Sean, if I may, is that, you know, when you go to a park, I mean, you can take your hand gel and that's fine. But I think, you know, some people might forget, and, you know, because there are forgetful people, it happens. And, you know, if you're not going to wash your hands until you get into the village, you're going to touch many things and spread it through transmission that way. So I still don't think it's quite enough that just relying on people to hopefully remember is enough for us. I just think that we should leave it as it is for now and come back to it at a later date. I maybe don't think that every week is right. Maybe once a month, but I don't think twice a year is enough.
Thanks, Matt. Actually, thinking of it, I mean, there is an argument that even once a week or even once a day wouldn't be enough, because you only need somebody to come along in the interim and so on. So how often is enough? Right, I've got Alex and then Malcolm. Alex?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I think there's actually been a really good discussion and some very good points that have been made. It has to be said that with the current weather we've been having, it seems like doing it once a week would arguably be a waste because of the the incessant rain that we appear to be having at the moment. I think Councillor Dow makes an excellent point. I think going into the winter months, going into the colder months, the flu season, the likely second wave we're going to have, the argument of doing it monthly rather than twice a year does, for me, seem like a very pragmatic approach, and I would wholeheartedly support that if that was recommended. I would note that from what I've seen going most weekends, I've seen people social distancing very well, bringing their own alcohol gel. I actually think that the residents of Hythe Dibden and the families have been sticking to the rules pretty closely. And furthermore, the children who play on it are often in closer groups when they're at school and play group anyway. I think monthly still shows that we're taking it seriously and being cautious, but I think weekly probably isn't the right thing to do, particularly in the current seasonal climate. So if Councillor Dale made a proposal, I would second it.
Thank you, Alex. Malcolm, and then I think we'll start wrapping this up.
Okay, that's a good point, Chairman. I think we've reached the end of this discussion. Good points on both sides. We are in the second wave. The problem is that we don't really know as much about this virus as we think we know. That's a fact, right? You know, there's some people, I'll give you an example. There's some people who'll get in the car and put a mask on, okay? And they think that's what they should do. The right thing is to put a mask on when you go near other people, like when you go in a shop or something like that. And just saying, there's a whole plethora of where we don't know what we're doing. The government set a load of guidelines in the beginning. It was impossible to follow those guidelines. So the parish councils went back to the government and said, oh no, they can't do this. I had a big chat with them. You're right, they said. So let's do it differently. Do what you think is right. Interpret it the way you want. Because that's what this is about, is interpretation. Now, somebody earlier said we could clean them once a day and it'd be no good, because once you've cleaned it, someone comes along with a virus and coughs all over it, it's dirty. So, you know, you can't clean it every minute. You can't clean it after every person's done it. The reality is we have zero ability to control the cleanliness of that. If we cleaned it 10 times a day, somebody could still come along and infect everything. And that's the fact. What stops people doing that is when the parents say, to little Johnny and little Jill there, they bring their, because they are caring for their youngsters, bring their gel and do the right thing. But Matthew's quite right what he says, because they don't do that, do they? We are going into the winter where it will rain a lot and it will be cold. And the play areas will not be as full and as packed as they have been during the summer. Now, the reality about this is, if you feel more comfortable by saying we'll do it once a month, then we'll do it once a month. But what the reality is, we could do it 10 times a day and still not be good enough. this is a fact of life. It is what it is. We need people to take a level of control. Put your mask on when you go in the shop. Take your gel when you take the children to the play area. What the officers have said is right. What members have said, because nobody really knows enough about this virus to be able to say carte blanche, if we do this, you'll be all right. All you know is put your mask on, wear your gloves, use the gel, don't go near people that have got it, socially distance. The only bit we know that socially distance is right. So the question with this is, do we want to spend 275, is it £275, did you say, a week? I can't remember what Sean said.
Yeah, I think Sean said 270 a week.
Do you want to do it a week, a month, 2 months, once a year, twice a year? It's all academic, really, because we're not going to fight the virus by doing it. If people feel more secure that we do it once a month, then okay. But don't think we're doing this to make it safer, because we can't. All we're doing is putting in something to make us feel comfortable. Now, the reality is we shut the play areas and then no one will catch it, will we? But we can't do that, because the young people need to be able to go and play. They need to be able to go for a whole plethora of reasons. That lockdown that we had, which was absolutely right to have it, but the mental health fallout from that, we won't know for some time. But in my role as a school governor, I hear about how children have been affected by this, and as a counsellor. So it's down to the decision. But the point I'm trying to make, don't think by cleaning it once a week, once a month, twice a year, we're going to make it any less safe, because we're not. We are only going to do something to make us be comfortable. And Matt said, well, we can't be blamed, but we're not be blamed, because we've opened the play areas. The question I'd ask Sean, what are the other councils doing around us? What's Forley and Marchwood and Totton doing?
There's no set. Everyone's doing their own thing. There's not one consistency that I can find. Everyone's interpreted those current rules to suit their needs.
How many of them are cleaning?
One.
Which one?
I think Forley are.
Okay.
Yeah, Totton aren't. Marchwood aren't.
So there's the choice, members. You can have the officers have suggested we do it twice a year. We've had a proposition to do it once a month. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
Alex suggested once a month. Well, Philip suggested once a month, and Alex was supporting it. So I was mindful, Chairman.
Can
I've actually got
I come back with one last point? Sorry.
Sorry.
The issue is, it's what we want to do. And you know, I'm quite I go with the flow. If people feel more comfortable saying we're going to do it, but the people who should be telling us what to do is the government, because they give us all the guidance. Now, if the government guidance
I'm not
says,
going to worry about the government.
Yeah, I know, but this is the point. If the government say clean the play areas once a week, then we're there.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're keeping a bit quiet, aren't they? They're too busy not paying for free school meals. So I'll just make the point, members, what we're doing, don't be under any illusion that whether we say we clean them, we're going to make them more safe. But it's how we feel comfortable about doing it. Whatever the decision is, I'm quite happy to go either way. I'm just making that point. Thank you.
Got an RTS from Simon.
Yeah, thank you. I've got an RTS from Mark, if he wants to add something. Oh, I've got one.
Simon's was on as well.
Simon as well.
It was just risk measuring, risk mitigation, Mr. Chairman. It was just simply, is anybody lawyer going to stand up in court and make the connection that little Johnny on a swing killed Aunt Matilda?
No, I don't think.
I just don't know how you make that connection, and therefore it would suggest that cleaning is neither here nor there, as Malcolm indicated. We haven't had the guidance from government. For my money, it's not spending that money is not worth it.
Right, I've got Simon, and then I think I will move to vote on this. Simon?
I just want to come back on Malcolm. It's just that it's not the fact that we're trying to protect people by doing the cleaning. I understand that as soon as Johnny sneezes all over it, that's cleaning out the window. I realise that. What I'm not comfortable with is we have a regime at the moment of cleaning, which seems to be working. And I quite agree with what Phil is saying. Maybe in the winter months we can move to once a month, but I'm not happy with the fact that we're talking about twice a year. That is just unrealistic and unworkable as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, Simon. Right, well, we've had a suggestion. We go to once a month. So if we could have a vote on whether we do once a month, and then if that falls, I'll look at something else.
Or against it. I don't know what I'm voting here. Simon.
Right, I'll make it clear.
Shall I make a proposal?
Yes, please.
I want to say we don't do it.
I would like to propose that we move to cleaning once a month, subject to the usual conditions that we review on a regular basis.
I'll second that.
Chairman, can I just make one addition to also subject to government guidance? Because if government guidance says we've got to do something different, we have to follow.
Yeah.
Is it all right, Philip?
Well, that's reviewing in my book.
Okay. Right, you ready?
Right, thank you. Right, thank you, Malcolm.
Mark?
Against, Mr. Chairman.
Sean?
Against, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra?
For.
Philip?
For.
Alan?
Against.
Matthew?
Chairman, I will be abstaining.
Simon?
For.
Stephanie?
I'm not sure. Am I against? I think if I don't want to do it.
That means
it's for once a month.
I'm against once a month. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Against once a month.
Melody?
Oh.
Alex?
4.
What's the vote so far?
2, 4,
5,
6,
4, 1.
8, 10. I've got
I didn't
10.
need that.
We've got 2.
I'm going to vote for. Go on.
2, 4. I make
Makes
that
people
6,
feel
4. 4 against, 1 abstention. I
How
don't know
many-
if anybody else was.
How many are for it? 5.
6.
6.
Well,
6, 4, 4 against,
Okay.
and 1 abstention. I don't know if anybody else was tallied it up.
You tallied up correctly, Chair.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
Okay,
Right,
officers.
so that's cleaning once a month.
I think we call that a compromise.
Yes, and we will be monitoring it, and it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it now move to item 17, which is council appointments. To appoint a member to the Open Spaces and Play Equipment Working Group. Didn't we have somebody? Wasn't this going to be Rebecca?
Malcolm.
Sorry.
Sorry, Sean.
Yes.
I think that was going to be Rebecca, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, that's what I thought.
I'll propose Rebecca.
I'll second Rebecca.
Good. Okay. The next one is to appoint a member of the Economic Development Working Group to replace Councillor Kitchen.
Malcolm, I have an RTS quickly. Are we taking a vote on these tonight?
What?
On councillor appointments. It was just to say if we
we don't need to vote on them. We can do them with just.
I was going. If we did need to vote, it was just to say because the skate park was the third one, I was going to abstain because I'm vice chairman of the group. That was all.
We don't need to vote on these, do we, Tracy? We can just come to an agreement, can't we?
Yeah.
Well, unless we've got more than one person wants to be.
Very true. It's the power of democracy. Okay. Who wants to join the Economic Working Group in place of Matt? Don't all shout at once, please. Anybody? We've got an RTS. Alex,
Yeah, I'll join.
you'll be on it. Excellent. Good. Okay. Final one, to appoint 2 members to serve as trustees for Waterside Skate and Ride. Can I have 2 volunteers, please?
Again, please don't all jump at once. RTS from Alex, Chairman.
Yeah, Alex.
Just a bit of clarification on the requirements of the role, please. Of course, I'd be interested. I don't know how often it's meeting at the moment, what work is on, and who's on the committee currently. I would certainly be interested in being a trustee if it meant helping it. So I'd certainly would be interested.
Alex has volunteered. Right. Okay, good. One more, please. Anybody?
I'll jump in there then, Chairman.
Philip. Okay, thank you. Philip and Alex. How often do they meet, Matthew, the committee?
So currently we are yet to set up another meeting, but I will confirm dates. We usually meet once a month, but I will confirm everything in a few days' time.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much, Council.
Right, time is getting on. Let's move. Item 18, Haynes Way, to receive the results of a tender for the provision of fencing, to receive a report of the maintenance facility supervisor. There are 2 recommendations. Do you want to say anything to this report, Marcus? Pages 37 to 40?
No, hopefully you've all had a chance to read the report. I'm just here if there's just any questions.
Okay, members, any questions on this? Very good report. Nobody? Is that you, Alex, with another RTS, or am I misreading that?
No, I was just going to propose the recommendations and ask if we, because it's a significant amount of money, if we need to go to vote.
Okay, everybody happy with that? Alex is going to propose, I'll second the recommendations then. Right, the first recommendation, subject to planning consent being granted, the Parish Council agrees to accept the quotation from BH Environmental Services, sum of £15,912.10p plus VAT, using funds from the general reserves. We're going to vote on this. Mark?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sean?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra?
Agreed, Chairman.
Philip?
Agreed.
Alan?
Agreed.
Matthew?
Agreed, Chairman.
Simon?
Agreed.
Stephanie?
Agree.
Melody?
Agreed.
Alex?
Agree.
Man, I agree. That's unanimous. Second, that a budget of up to £3,000 be allocated to the project to ensure the areas of open space are planted with suitable types and amounts of trees and shrubs to replace any vegetation removed in the project. Okay.
300, it says.
300. Yeah.
Did I say 3,000? Sorry, 300.
Yes.
My apologies. Sorry, I got carried away there. Right, Mark. Where's he gone? I'm asking you to agree.
Agree. Yes, agree,
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, Sean?
Agreed, Mr. Chairman.
Sandra?
Agreed, Chairman.
Philip?
Agreed.
Alan?
Agreed.
Matthew?
You never guess what? Agreed, Chairman.
Good. Simon?
Agreed.
Stephanie?
Agree.
Melody?
Agreed.
Alex?
Agree.
And I agree. Okay. Item 19. Here we go again. New vehicle to receive the results of the tender to the provision. Pages 41 to 44. Do you want to add anything, Marcus?
No, once again, just here for anybody who needs any clarification or any questions.
No, they're quite good reports, very succinct and have the facts and details there. Good one. Okay, the recommendation, the council agrees to set the quotation from Westway, Nissan Southampton, and purchase Nissan NV300 in white for the sum of £19,322.96, including VAT, using funds held in community safety earmarked reserves. Remind me why it's got the community safety earmark reserved on that, because that's not, that money's supposed to be ring fenced.
The maintenance team are transferring the electric vehicle, and this will be the replacement for the maintenance team.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
it's because
it's really worded it differently.
Yeah, so to originally buy the new vehicle for the ACSOs.
No, I understand that. It's just that we earmarked them for the ACSOs. What it should have been put down here, that the value of the current vehicle is transferred to the community safety earmark reserve budget, and the value of that is taken out to pay for the new one, or words to that effect. Is that?
We can change the wording.
The reason is because we as members agreed to earmark that money, ring fence it, so it couldn't be used for something else. And to follow that in the spirit of it, we need to explain that we are not using it for something else. It is actually we're transferring something in, and the value of that we're taking out. Does that make sense? Tracy, do you see where I'm coming from with that?
Sorry. Not exactly. I thought we were going to use some of the money from the SIL funding for new vehicle.
Good point. Well done. Thank you. Yes, we can use SIL money for that.
Just a word of caution there, members. We're all aware that we've got some concerns over Prospect Place, and that SIL money could be used for the flood defence at Prospect Place.
Yeah, but we do also have the special projects fund, which we could use that.
Well, that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, the reason why we're having this discussion, and apologies to try the confusion, because we agreed to ring fence it in public, and rightly so, and we should stick to what we agreed. And what and we did discuss. Tracy made the inquiries. Could we use SIL money for that? Now we have a special projects funds that could be used for Prospect Place should it be needed to, and we are sticking to the promise we made to the public that we ring fence the community safety money.
So just so I'm clear, because I've lost the plot a little bit. So the value of the Nissan van that's being transferred to the community safety.
Well, so Tracy's come back with a better solution. Instead of taking it from the earmarked community safety reserves, we use SIL money to pay for the van.
Fine.
Okay. Alex, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I thought, in my opinion, the originals of the rewording should be sufficient. We're not taking any value away from it. We are transferring the value of it by the vehicle going back into community safety, and then removing, obviously, using the funds towards the vehicle. I think the rewording of it should be sufficient enough. From what Sean has said with regards to the SIL money and obviously the special funds, I think that should be left, obviously, what we intend to purchase this on, and just sort of a rewording should be stringent enough.
Sean Cullen, we've got
basically, Alex has almost just echoed what I was going to say. When we drew up the budget, we drew up a budget to pay for a vehicle, and as you say, it's just we're being open and transparent, aren't we? We're, and sticking to our promise that the money is going to be ring fenced, but what we're doing is taking money out of. It's like a trade-in value, really, isn't it? But what Alex said, I agree to the rewording should be sufficient.
I just want to go back to Tracy, because Tracy is the Chief Financial Officer, should have the final say on which way we wanted to do it.
The reason that members wanted to do it was to potentially save some of their budget that they could this year, and one way to save some money from your budget is to use some of your SIL money. So it's members' decision how they want to do it. They could save their SIL money and use it in next year's budget, but you do have quite an amount of SIL money building up. So it's
okay.
Whether members want to stick to that, if they've already budgeted for it, but I think there's concern about having to put more money in to raise the budget next year, maybe. So
Tracy is absolutely right. Right, I am going to propose we change this to use the SIL money, because I remember. No, it's for next year's budget. We were talking about that figure. We're getting gets it all a bit confusing here. It was next year's budget that we were talking about the equipment for the issue, and we're going to get ourselves totally confused. I missed that. I wish I'd have known. I'd have brought this up earlier. We can. The Alex is right and Sean are right that there has to be purchase of a vehicle, but we're doing it internally because we're transferring a vehicle in, so that vehicle has a value, and that value is going from the maintenance budget to community safety budget. So there, it is quite okay to transfer the money out to that. The bit that we were talking about, the budget, was the budget for next year, because this one is in this year, isn't it? I think I've got an RTS from Stephanie, then we need to sort of tie this up because it's getting a bit complicated.
Yeah, I just think this is really seriously important. We do get the word in right. I mean, Alan Ferred and I used to go to meetings and listen to where things had not been listed, where people wanted to know where the community safety money was. So I don't think we should have any chance of it being confusing. And if that is what's happening, then it needs a bit more of a sentence added to it, you know, to show what we've done is that we've allocated the electrical vehicle to the community safety team. And that means that that money's got to be swapped over. But to just put it like that, I wouldn't be very happy about it.
Okay. Officers, give us some guidance. You know what we want to achieve. You know we've got the ring fence that budget because we've committed ourselves to do it. So, what's your view? Go on.
Chairman, can we maybe just defer this item because we haven't actually fully completed our budget meeting yet? So at the moment, I think there's a bit confusion because we are sort of transferring and trying to save money and not too sure what's coming out of earmark reserve. So
can I ask, if we would do that, does that affect this at all? Because we are committed to purchasing a vehicle for the maintenance of facilities.
No, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but you have got the money in your budget anyway, haven't you?
No, not this year. Not in the vehicle replacement fund. No. Is there? There's not, Marcus, is there?
No, there isn't. If we defer it, it means you don't have. Well, we either don't have a vehicle for maintenance or we don't have a vehicle for your AXO service. So you actually have a set of money set aside for a vehicle for the ACSOs. Now it's how you want to use that. So it comes down to the wording. So the idea was that you don't have enough money to buy them a new electrical vehicle. You want to see them as being, you know, as this front of the council, and it would be more suitable for that. It's how we get the word in and where we transfer it from. And I think myself and Sean got a little bit confused when we've written the notes because the money would be coming from which budget. So we just need to know how we're going to move it from one to another, basically.
Okay. Well, we need to get the van. That's not in question, right? So,
Chairman?
Yes, Alan.
All we're doing really, we've got money in the ACSO budget. Forgive me because I kicked this off in the first place. We've got to buy a vehicle for the ACSOs, which is listed. I haven't got the budget figures in front of me for whichever year, but all we're doing really is buying a second-hand vehicle for the ACSO, which is in fact the maintenance vehicle. Whether we buy it from a garage or a dealer or from within our internal fleet, we are buying a vehicle for the ACSO team. And the money that we pay for it has got to come out of the ACSO's money, the same as their stab-proof vests, their high-vis jackets and everything else. It's money that's got to be paid for them to do their job. And then the money that we paid for it, for this second-hand vehicle, goes into the fund to buy the new vehicle for the maintenance team. I have got no objection to us spending as I say, I kicked this all off in the first place. I've got no objection to us using the money that is ring fenced for the ACSOs to buy their equipment. That's what it's there for. It was wrong that it was put into the general fund to use for God knows what. It's being used for the ACSOs to buy a vehicle. As I say, along with their stab-proof vests, their trousers, their hats, and everything else.
Okay. Tracy, are you happy with that approach?
Yeah, that's fine.
So this does need to be reworded to reflect that, because the way it says here, we're just purchasing the vehicle to go to the maintenance team, which is against that ring fence.
Yeah.
Can we reword the recommendation now, and then we can agree it? Is that clear, everybody? So, do you want to come up? Anyone want to come up for how about using funds?
Could I just suggest that we basically paraphrase what Alan's just said? So it states that the existing van is transferred to the ACSO service, and the funds for that are then transferred to the other account. I mean that sounded very clear to me, what Alan said.
Thank you.
What about so we put it? Could we say using? This is just a perspective. Using funds designated for the purchase, using funds that purchased the ACSO vehicle from the maintenance team. Does that work, or something like that? Because we're actually doing an internal movement.
Yeah.
So we're paying for the security safety budget paid for the electric van, right? In turn, which is down to maintenance, and that money maintenance are using to buy a new van to replace it.
Yeah.
Does that work? It just needs to be reworded. Tracy.
His hand up now. So basically, you're doing environment, aren't you?
Yes.
You're transferring budget heading. So all you need to do is actually do a resolution that you're wiring money from one budget heading to another budget heading.
But we're doing it because we've purchased a van for the ACSOs, and that money is then used to purchase the van for the. Is that everybody? Can the minutes reflect that decision? Because we're having are we all happy with that?
Yeah.
The clarity has got to be in that we are using the ACSO's budget to buy a van from the second-hand van, which is at the moment is in the hands of the maintenance team.
I've got Simon here.
No matter what we say about the rest of it,
okay,
because that's just going to confuse everybody else.
Okay.
The fact that we're buying a second-hand van for the ACSOs from the maintenance team using the ACSO's budget, that's the important bit. The rest of it, the maintenance team's new van, whatever, is a sideline.
Okay.
The strength of the thing has got to be that we are using the ACSO's budget to buy a van for the ACSOs.
Yeah.
Internally.
Yeah.
Malcolm, Sean.
Simon's got an RTS.
It's just like Alan has said. It's what we're doing here. We're not just transferring all of the money from ACSOs to buy the new one. It's the second-hand value of that van. Yeah. And have we established how much that is? Don't know. So if we establish how much that van is worth, and then transfer that from the ACSOs to the maintenance team, the maintenance team's then got to make up the difference to purchase the new van.
Exactly.
Okay, I've got the answer to this.
I don't know how to put that in words.
Oh, I've got the answer to this, but Sandra's before I've come up with a suggestion.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Well, the thing is, I take Alan's point. Yeah, we're we're buying the van from the maintenance team for the ACSOs. But also tonight, we're supposed to be agreeing the purchase of the van. So we've got to actually have the new van in there as well somewhere, because that's what we're supposed to be agreeing tonight, isn't it?
Well, we're agreeing the new
amongst other
van.
things.
Yeah, I agree with
We're
you,
agreeing a new
Sandra.
van.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is the point we need to stress.
Oh
in
yes, I agree with you, Alan. Yeah, we've got to stress we're not
yeah, so
pinching it out of the
that-
ACSO budget.
so that the community see
Okay.
that we are using the ring fence money for that purpose.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do, right? And please put the form of words. We will be transferring the second-hand value of the electric van to the maintenance budget. Okay. And if there's any difference between that and the sum of £19,322.96, we will make it up from the general reserve. Let's do that. That way, everything's boxes ticked, and that they can then get the van. Is there a problem doing that, officers?
No, that's fine.
We can get the van. I'm sorry, this has got a bit more complicated than one anticipated, and it's probably down to me. I'm sorry, but we do need to. We did make that promise, and we do need to keep the promises we make to the public. Cast iron. So, because the council agrees to set the quotation, blah 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 blah, and then it says using funds from the transfer of the maintenance van to the ACSO service, and any shortfall in that value to be made from general reserves. Does that make Tracy? Is that okay?
Not clear enough. No.
Right. Okay.
I suggest you take
Malcolm,
it
can I-
outside of this meeting.
No, we've got to agree it now.
Chair.
Right. Let's start again. Using funds from the transfer of the
No, forget
electric van to the
transfer.
ACSO service.
Forget
Sorry,
transfer.
I have an RTS. Can I come in, please?
Okay, go on.
The council, this council agrees to transfer the vehicle from the maintenance budget at a value of 19,000 and so forth to the community safety team and budget. From the value of the van will then be transferred from the community safety budget to the general maintenance team to support the purchase of a new vehicle.
That's clearer.
But okay, but you said you wanted the second-hand value.
I haven't put that in. If people want to, they can add that. I just think we have discussed
We
this
are
long.
tying ourselves in a knot here, members, right?
And it's a long meeting. It's late in the day.
I know,
and
and we haven't finished. Right. Listen.
I propose that.
Yeah, but Alan's already raised, and so did someone else, the spectacle of the second-hand value of the van. We have never got into this trouble before. Right. We are going to transfer the second-hand value of the van to the maintenance budget, and we'll make the difference up from the general reserve. And therefore, we have not taken money out of the community safety budget to more than it was worth the van. We've paid for the van, and the maintenance get their van because we're topping it up from the general reserve. I will propose that a form of words that Tracy puts in to make that sound like legitimate English is the way we use. Right?
Second that, Chairman.
Therefore, we have kept our promise by ring fencing the community safety budget. We have got maintenance the van that they need. So we're there. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
We're going to have to vote on this now. Mark and Matthew, giving their apologies, they've had to leave. So I'm going to go through this really quickly. Right? Is that form of words okay, officers, to tie this up?
Yeah, I think so.
Brilliant. Okay. Sean.
Yes, Chairman.
Sandra.
Yes, Chairman.
Philip.
Yes.
Alan.
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Melody.
Yes.
Alex.
Yes.
Me. Yes. Good. Right. Okay.
Oh.
Right, okay. These meetings are never usually this long. Right. Item 20, the Safer New Forest Partnership Survey. To consider and agree sponsored and Safer New Forest Survey. Can I suggest we have a few members do this? We're not going to do it tonight. Can I have some volunteers, please?
Yes, Chairman.
Stephanie and Philip. Excellent.
Chairman,
Yes,
can I ask that all councillors send their views via email, and they're collated maybe by councillors Osborne and Dowd, because I think we all have quite strong views on this.
Absolutely.
Excellent plan. Right, and when have we got to have this in by officers? Does anybody know?
Let's have a look.
Comment.
Can I suggest, as a member of the overview panel that this comes from on NFDC, that I'd encourage responses within a week so we can send it as soon as possible, please?
By the end of this week, next
No,
week.
within a week.
Within a week. All right, by this time next week, okay?
Chairman, can I just say, I don't recall seeing the survey. So can someone send me a copy of it?
Claire, can we send that round to all members, please?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, really.
It's on the agenda.
PDF on the agenda, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's on ModGov, isn't it?
Yeah, Alan might not be able to open a PDF.
Oh, I'm not on it
As soon
either.
as I go into ModGov, the tablet might as well be.
Hey, excuse me, one meeting, please. Can we, Claire, send it as an attachment in Word or Excel to all members, please?
Yes, I will do that tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now move on. Finance 2021, please note the COVID costs. Are there any comments about the finance information, or is it noted?
Noted.
We only have to note this, don't we, Tracy?
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, now we have exclusion of the press and public. To resolve the press and public be excluded from the meeting for the following business on the grounds that involves a light disclosure of exempt information as defined by Part 1 of Schedule 12 of the Local Government Act 1972.